Thank you very much for staying with us. As we hinted earlier, it's time now to talk about enhancing one's health. And of course, it's going to take a slightly different slant because we're putting our spotlight on the essence of plants. Of course, there are thousands of plant species across the world, and they come in various shapes and sizes, playing an essential role in supporting lives on Earth. And because of their benefits, we have an author with us here in the studio. He wrote a book titled I Choose to Live, which focuses on the importance of healthy living. And this book draws attention to the health benefits of fruits, seeds, and leaves, which we consume every day. And of course, he'll be here to talk about, the medical importance of these gifts from Mother Nature. Joining us now to talk more about the importance of living and maintaining a healthy lifestyle is author of I Choose to Live, Afolabi Coker. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, and good morning, Ma.
Good morning.
Sir.
Good morning. Interesting, title, because basically that's life. That's life for you. Life throws you, so many options, one of which is, a choice to living. Even though, of course, that question, if you ask anyone, nobody would say, I want to die. But how you live your life, tells you, tells you, what choice you are actually living. Just let us, begin on that, on that level, how it affects our health, or how this title affects our health, basically.
Everything about life is my choice. And most times, the way we eat, what we eat, how we eat it has a lot to do with our state of health. Some eat by reason of quantity, not by reason of quality. And all the plants around us have much benefit that we don't know. And a lot of examples, when you think about plants like what is miracle leaf, it has a lot of health benefit for blood pressure, management, and all these something, insomnia. Plants like touch and go for pains, plants like asparagus that we even play with and then we just clear off. It's good for things for asthma and things like that. And so many things, and even there are some things you eat that detoxes you. And many are much more in the book about the plants and the health benefit. The seed, like the purple seed, can help even in the process of things like ulcer. And many people are just dying of things like diabetes and all these things. And some cannot even afford the orthodox medicine. We are not saying you should not practice orthodox medicine, but God has made everything available for us at no cost. But my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So acquiring the knowledge and investing in knowledge will make you, and when you apply it, will make you, it has a lot to do with your life. People may say, well, it is something that will kill somebody. That does not mean you should be on suicide mission.
That's interesting. Well, you are advocating, plants, and then when I first saw it, I even thought it was a religious book. But at the same time, it's connected because you try to expatiate on what the Bible says about, these plants and all of that, and that goes to, show that probably, or I would want you to, talk on the fact that there are some people who are very religious. They go to church, but they do not want to have anything to do with plant because they believe that it is fetish. What do you say to that?
Yeah, that's part of the challenge. You see, most Christians believe that once they pray, God will do everything. And faith without work is dead. When you look from the book of Genesis chapter 1, we are told about that God has made every plant, every seed, and every fruit available, even for food. So in the light of this, the challenge you have, even initially when I started this research in 2002, when my mother had breast cancer stage 4 terminal, and then eventually God used a man to prepare a herb and some solutions without any incantation, without any occultic devices to cure her. My mother is still alive in Abeokuta. Since 2002, she's still alive and well and eating everything. So that my curiosity. So I started interacting with a professor at Covenant University who had also the experience of all these things and some people about various plants and various things about various ailments and things like that. The first thing is that when you talk to people in church or even colleagues who are pastors, they tell you that you have to be careful. You have to be careful because people will think that you are using occultic means even to run the church and things like that. But at the point in time, I discovered that the rate that people were dying and people so close, you hear somebody had a headache yesterday, took analgesic and by the following morning they didn't wake up. Whereas with something like miracle leaf and onion, you can crash down your blood pressure, which has been tested and proved. The testimonies are in the book. Even with certain things that you are struggling to sleep, all this something, pain and all this, with guava leaf, pineapple peel, and even miracle leaf, things like joint pains and things like that over the time, not an instant thing, can even be cleared. So, but when people started seeing it and started experiencing it, practicing it, and seeing that this thing is real, and then last year, I was just inquiring from God, and God told me the appointed time to bring about the book is this coming year, and this is now. And the time has come for it to manifest.
Okay, and so how do you advise people to go by this healthy lifestyle? Because thankfully, thank God for your mom, who is still alive despite that major health scare. But some would say it's best to start early, even with with plants, rather than when you get sick, when you now have to start using these plants for medicinal value. What do you advise? Should I just maybe as I get home now get maybe a little space around the house to start planting some of these essential plants? What do you advise?
Yeah, my advice is prevention is better than cure. You see, once you start, because there could be underlying ailment, and as you grow, there are issues, either by reason of what we eat, or by one challenge, it could be genetical, that is physiological, or psychosomatic. But once you start taking control of certain things, you can live healthy and live long. Because the will of God is that you will not die but live. So, in line with this, I will advise, just like the content in this book has so many diverse combination of various things. If you can get a copy of this book, it will help you now. Even the plants are all available everywhere. Like somebody I was interacting with, he said he has a lot of miracle leaves in their compound and on their streets. But even advocating that they should clear it, they should clear this rubbish, until he had a testimony about somebody who had a high blood pressure and then dealt with it with the miracle leaf and onion. So he quickly went for it. That's why I have been on hypertensive drug for quite a while. Even I remember when my own brother had stroke, it was this process that reversed the process.
Wow.
He had it on November 17. He couldn't talk, he couldn't stand, he couldn't raise his hand. But before the November ending, he started speaking, he started talking. Only hands were difficult to lift. So with physiotherapy, he was able to lift his hand and the fingers are back. So it's not something, some of the things we call killer ailments, God has made provisions ahead. Because God knows the end from the beginning. He declares the end from the beginning. So I'm admonishing that even if you can't plant it, work for it around. And you will discover that there will be great change and fulfillment and a better health and a healthy living than even what we are going through, despite the pressures we're in at a time such as this.
Interesting. Even though I've heard about plants that actually, just by planting them, you ward off reptiles, you ward off mosquitoes, and all of that. I think we even have some of them right there in our compounds, that are used to ward off mosquitoes and all of that. But when you heard of prominent people, for instance, like King Charles, who is now seeking alternative medicine, saying that he's not using the Western medicine, and some other prominent person, I think a woman also of the monarchy system, saying that they are seeking alternative medicine. Did that come to you as a surprise?
No, it's not a surprise to me. You see, one thing is this. You can't compare nature to any artificial thing. Because plants are part of nature. They're like food. Everything has its own side effect, including water. But the impact or the negative impact of nature cannot be compared with the orthodox or petrochemical products or whatever. So that is the something. But the challenge we have is that civilization and this education has made us now to forget the basic thing that God gave us, which we are coming back to, and we are returning back to Eden. So in the light of this, you discover that those days when we were growing up, we take things like neem leaf, dogoyaro, with the bark of mango tree, and then lemongrass, boil it together, take a cup, and then you steam with the blanket covered, you sweat. The next day or two, you are back to school. But when this issue of chloroquine came and also some other things, which we are not criticizing, We just left our own original something. Which we
Actually,
are
during COVID, we seem to have a resurrection of that.
Yes.
Those herbal drinks, became popular once again.
Yes, but you see, some people will tell you that he has no measure, he has no concentration, something. But you see,
But is that a legitimate concern? The fact that people say, how do you regulate these things so that you don't take an overdose?
now the something is this: is that when you take a little measure of this thing, it's not that immediately you take it, the thing just go like the way you take Panadol, you take an analgesic, and then the thing stops immediately. It's a process. For example, as I am, if I stress myself, maybe church work, travel, go to farm, return, and I take my BP, the highest has ever been 118/74. Okay. So I will be 64 this year. But I look like somebody, if you see my face, you will think I'm somebody like 40 or 30 something. So what's the secret? Every night, I boil miracle leaf, a few, and I drink. If I'm feeling some pains or stress, I add pineapple peels and guava leaf, and I take just a cup. Sleep like a baby. Colon cleansing, stress, joint pains and everything is off. I come back the following day refreshed, no matter what I'm doing, at no cost.
But some may not agree with you. They might just say that you're being lucky.
It's your body. Or maybe
yes, because they will say that, just like she said, what about the dosage and all of that? Some are saying that you take this to treat malaria, arthritis, and all of this. Are they scientifically proven?
You see, some have been scientifically proven by some research from some professors of medicinal chemistry, and also pharmacologists and things like that. But you see, because of this issue of this market business sense, and then like I said, the education and the ignorance, quote and unquote, has made us to suffer a lot from so many things. I was in United States in one of the supermarket or pharmacy, CVS pharmacy, and I saw capsule of a bitter leaf capsule. But here, take anybody to take bitter leaf, he will tell you that, oh, you don't need all these things. But people are buying it now as capsule from US. So what's the challenge? It does it. It's not just about somebody's body. In this book, there are testimonies of people who have partaken and have testified. Am I communicating? They are proven facts. They are proven facts. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not a medical personnel, but they spread an encounter. What will you say about my mom? Stage 4 cancer, that the pathologists have recommended that the breast be cut off. Right. But along the line, it was not cut off. She was treated. The thing busted, and we are told that if it burst, it's dead in 2002. But the woman was not touched. They had been discharged from hospital to go home and die. But along the line, she made it and cleared. Unfortunately, the man is dead. The knowledge he carried, he went with it. So these things are working. They are working. But if you need more, just go to the book, test and see. Give it a try.
Okay. And, talking about this book now, what is the level of availability? Just give us, a spotlight into how much progress the book has made in terms of, it being accessible to people.
Yeah. The book will be presented, actually, on the 28th of April 2004. That will be next week Sunday, not this Sunday, at 5 p.m. at number 42, the King's Chamber, number 42, Association Avenue, opposite Asika Park, the Purple Building, Babani Kuru bus stop. Now, you can also have copies after the presentation for a few fee. And at the same time, after that, there are contacts in some of our churches and outlets. The book is not a religious book, like you said, and you note and you have read. It's about everybody, whether you're an atheist, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whether you believe in God or not. We are talking about nature.
As you're a human.
It's as long as you're a human being and you choose to live.
Is that why when we see goats, when you see goats, they always look fresh, especially the goats that are roaming, picking and eating directly from because some people will be worried. They'll be like, goats don't even, they are not bothered whether the economy is bad, whether there is no money. They just go around. In fact, somebody also wished to be like a goat. I said, okay, well, at the end of the day, your owner will slaughter you and eat you. So is that why we see some of those animals looking very fresh? Because they take from the plants. They don't bother themselves with, concoction. They don't bother themselves with, eating food that have MSG, etc.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. It's one of the reasons. When they eat healthy and they eat good from there. Now, even for Christians, when they bring this argument that this and this, I can eat anything, whatever I said before you, when you look at the Bible, from Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 to Genesis chapter 9, verse 2, you won't see any mention of eating any animal. The first mention was after rebellion. In Genesis chapter 9, verse 3, there you see the issue of you can eat anything. So when we talk about animal protein and things like that, where are the animal getting their protein from? In everything, when you deal with the primary source, you get a better result than even the secondary source. Every animal protein is a secondary measure, but the primary source you can also take. I'm not advocating for being a vegetarian, but what I'm saying that whatever you are taking, there are certain things you can prevent. Am I communicating? There was a time my hair was getting bald, going in and then at the back, receding. Then I started putting a teaspoon of black seed oil, original black seed oil, into green tea. And then in the course of it, I discovered that if you see my hair that you can see now, it doesn't look at it as going to 64. But somebody will now come and tell me that, no, you can't escape it, it's natural. It's natural, I experience it, and then this is it. So it's not about somebody. So if it's still part of the lock, then try the lock as well.
Interesting.
Okay.
Some of our
through this book.
Some of our seatmates, I don't want to mention the names. I think they will have to come after him
In fact, you don't want
to fill up all those loopholes.
that would be well, that is something that many people can relate with. But something just came to mind now because due to civilization or what we call civilization, many people, as you have said, walk past these plants, not knowing that this is something that can actually save lives. I mean, here you are talking about drinking, using black seed oil, using these herbs, using the plants, drinking plants every night, and then you sleep well, and all the obvious benefits. But do you advocate some form of training, for people to identify the benefits of this plant? Is there something that this book also includes in form of like a school where people can learn? Because there is a lot of ignorance in the land, young and the old alike.
Yeah, thank you very much, my sister. There's something then about this book is to enlighten the people. And also to see that part of the things, how it's being used. I mean, for everyone's benefit. If you're a literature, you can even read simple English. You'll be able to get a lot of things out of it. So that's what the purpose of this book is, at least to help in my own part to make sure I render a service and a product to help reduce the rate of incessant death.
Okay. And, beyond the book, what kind of advocacy are you also doing beyond, what you've encapsulated into this book? Are you having outreaches? Because I feel that this is, just so wonderful to want to, kind of cover. This is something that could save us God knows how many lives.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I know that after this, the presentation of the book, and people have access to the book, and those who thirst and long for knowledge and apply it, they will invite, whether through non-government organizations, government organizations, people, churches, mosques, and even places where they can be educated and then to also see through some of these things. It's time we better our life and not just die cheaply.
Interesting. So are you looking at, because I can see the copy that I have with me here is written in English language, and there are some people who do not have access to, the Western education that some of us are privileged to have. Do you have it in other translation? Or are you working towards?
This is the first publication on this.
Right.
And then you're just starting. And then with time, we can't promise now. It depends on the acceptability and the response of the people.
So who would not want to accept anything? Do you feel some people will still not want to accept things that will better their life, better their lot at the end of the day, when it comes to people having sickness? And it's only when you're sick, when you're sick, that you know the value of being healthy. So do you feel that some people will want to, reject, this?
The level of impact of Western education on issue of drugs and all these things has made some people to be biased that no matter what is said, they are not interested. But it's a matter of time. But when you ask, just like when you read some of the testimonies at the back of that book, towards the last pages, and then you are convinced about it, you want to give it a try. And then you ask your friend, what is the secret? Like I'm telling mine. And I have so many other people that have been tested and proved. So that is the conviction that will now bring it about. When things start new, people never believe, especially the literate. And that is the problem we have today. And you know, the common thing is that nobody wants to tell anybody about the state of his or her health. That is even if we care to even check our health status. Yeah. How many people check the state of their sugar level? How many people check their blood pressure? Everybody just feel that, well, one thing will kill somebody. But without doing some preventing means and eat anything, just junks and anything that comes to the mouth to just fill the belly, which is not supposed to be, and the provisions. So in the light of this, as we progress, we believe that God will help us to bring total remedy and solution to the maladies of sudden death and challenges of men and women in terms of health, challenges that they can't even tell anybody.
Right. And, you know, let's also talk about, okay, so what advice would you give to, you know, people now? We have people who are dying, you know, at, you know, worrying ages, some old. There are some diseases that one would say is associated with old age, but suddenly like stroke now, high blood pressure and the like, we're having much younger persons, you know, suffering from these deadly diseases. So what is your advice now as we, you know, wrap up? What is a take home? Like, how can we run with this nuggets that you have just shared? So maybe give us some, you know, some tips that one can, you know, start off immediately.
What I would just say first is this, is that watch what you eat. Be mindful of what you eat. You see somebody taking 3 wraps of gari, and then maybe 5 internal parts of a cow, and then a little vegetable. It's uncalled for. Anything that is more than your wrist as a swallow is putting pressure on your system and putting pressure on your body, and it's all a waste. You know, when children eat like small, maybe you eat a little, the parents get concerned that, oh, the way he's eating, I'm concerned. But that child is eating healthily.
Not the one with bloated.
Not the one that you now don't to eat. And then when you eat late at odd hours, you see somebody who is just 30-something or 40, early 40s, a man pregnant, and then stressing, they can't climb staircase and do this, and then let the people do exercise. Inside, AC, car, AC, kitchen, AC, office, AC, everything AC. We avoid sun, we avoid sweat, and then as a result, vitamin D is depreciating. And then all this entails on our health. And then we keep drinking sugar.
But we actually have people who will abuse their food intake, but then say, okay, I have this herb that I take that will burn the fat.
No, you know, anything that you do in excess has repercussion. Right. Too much of everything is bad.
So what do you say to people that, you know, they just must eat late? You know, there are some of our
nature of work,
some of our colleagues. The only time they get home, okay, for instance, those who are on 10 p.m.
If they eat late, they should also work the process of periodical detoxing. Like, for example, like this miracle leaf that I mentioned, if you boil it and you drink it as tea, when you wake up, it will do for you colon cleansing. Okay. So those things that are supposed to now hang around your body will be cleared early in the morning.
Right.
So you now discover that what you have even eaten is fully worked on and cleared off you.
Mr. Afolabi Coker, we thank you very much for your contributions on the program today. We wish you a successful outing on the 28th when you launch I Choose to Live. Thank you very much once again.
You're welcome and I appreciate it.
All right.
Yes, and you are invited as well.
All right. Thank you for that.